Hello, hello. Okay. Right. So we're going to remove this IC here. I'm not sure how many pins that is. What? 16 pin or something. So what we're going to do first, we're just going to try and remove it with the hot air gun. Now, this board, I don't think it's leaded solder, because there's a big sign that says lead free on the board. Anyway, we'll try releasing it with the hot air gun and just using a bit of flux, but if it feels like we're applying too much heat to the board and it's not lifting, then we'll just add a little bit of leaded solder to the pads to encourage the non-leaded solder to melt. But we'll try it with the hot air gun first and see what happens. So we just want to knock them on. Now I'm running this on the lowest airflow, I think literally the lowest. That was because I was doing a reflow soldering a capacitor in the last video. So I had it on really low heat so it didn't blow the component away. But I think I'm running it on about 450 degrees Celsius. The soldering iron runs at 400. So yeah, anyway, let's apply some flux. So this stuff is really good. It helps the solder to flow and be more molten and stick to the pads better. And it also picks up any sort of contaminants and it helps sort of spread the heat around the board a bit better. So it's great, it's good stuff, flux. And I think it's really cheap. You can get it, you know, on eBay for like $2 or, you know, what, £1.50 or something. So it's really cheap. And it's really important because, you know, it makes your life so much easier. Alright, so let's go in with the hot air gun. Let that heat up. Let's get in there. Okay, so maybe we'll just increase the airflow slightly. You see, because this is lead-free stuff, it can be quite difficult to get it to release. So it looks like we might have to apply some leaded solder to this. Some low melt solder to help it along. So we'll just do that quickly. So we'll get our trusty leaded flux core solder. We'll just go over them a bit. And again. That should do it. Clean off the iron. And back in with the hot air. There we go. That is released from the board. So there we go, it's right there. I mean, you can see this is tiny. I mean, it's less than a centimeter. But this is big as far as SMD components go. And then you can see what we've got left there. So what we're right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 16 pins. Right, so the next thing is to clean up the pads, and we'll do that using something like this, which is a copper braid. I don't know if you can, I'll show you under the microscope. You see the braided pattern? Now this stuff just absorbs solder like it's nothing. Heats it up. Alright. So again, a little bit more flux, because why not? And then we'll come in with the copper braid and the soldering iron. And this is how you clean up the solder. Like this. The copper braid just absorbs all of that stuff. see that? It's quite satisfying, I think, to watch. Isn't that strange how it just soaks it up like that? And there we go, we've got some nice clean pads there. Okay, so after we've cleaned the pads, we're just gonna apply a tiny bit of fresh leaded solder to the pads, and then we're gonna refix the IC to the board using a reflow method, sort of. Okay, let's grab our flux again. And again, come in with some, just tip our soldering iron with some clean off the iron. I mean, look at this. This is the pad that came with the soldering iron. I mean, it's 3 millimeters thick, and it just melts as soon as it makes contact with the actual iron. So I would recommend buying a steel wool, you know those things you use to clean dishes and other things? Steel wool sort of sponge or whatever you call it. One of those things would be great. So let's take our chip, or the Integrated Circuit IC, and just nudge him into place. Now I know there's a lot of extra solder on there, but we'll get rid of that after we've fixed these pins. So I'm going to do that with, first of all, I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove this clump of solder right here because it's a bit too big. It's interfering with things. So just pick that up. Alright, so once you've got that in place, I like to just solder like one leg or something just so it's sort of secure. And then we'll use the hot air gun to sort of reflow. And again with the hot air, just come in with that. There we go, that's that side fixed. And then we'll just press down on it. So I'm just pressing down and letting the hot air do its work. that's that. Now, I know it's not the cleanest job, but you know, I'm using really cheap gear here that I got from eBay. I mean, this 2-in-1 soldering station with hot air and soldering iron was, you know, £45. I mean, that's nothing really, but you can still do these quite, you know, fiddly jobs with cheap gear. And although it may not be pretty, I mean, it still works. It's a fix, so it, you know. Okay, and then at this point, you just want to clean it up, you know. So you can use, you know, alcohol. You know, that like alcohol spirit type stuff, because it evaporates really quick, so it's fine to squirt it onto the circuit board. And alternatively, you can use some glass and window polish. So yeah, and then a toothbrush, the ultimate tool. So you just come in with some of that, you know, and give that a good scrub. Because the flux sort of, you know, it sticks to the board, sort of like a paste. And then finally, if you want, you can just check each pin and make sure they're fixed. I mean, you should definitely do this, actually. So you can see they're all fixed. Not going anywhere. No movement in it. Yeah. So that's good. And that's that, thanks. You can go back and watch the replacing a capacitor video if you want as well. But that's that, replacing a 16-pin IC. Thank you for watching.